Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Kat.
I feel like I caught you doing something.
No.
Okay.
At all.
You were fondling the Xsmall. I did see that. What are you going to teach me today on this little dude?
We're going to go through test mode on the Xsmall.
Okay, why do I care about test mode? What is it going to do for me?
You care about test mode because it shows you you can operate the functions of your espresso machine freely. So outside of the software of the machine.
Okay.
So if you just want to run your grinder, make sure it works, not dependent on what your grind is set at or anything like that. You can do that in test mode.
Okay.
Same thing with your pump or your brew unit motor.
Okay.
You can kind of just go through all the motions of your machine and make sure they're all functional.
Without brewing a shot.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So how do I get into test mode on this little dude?
Test mode on the Xsmall is interesting in the sense that you have to be holding down a button while you're plugging your machine in.
Okay.
So let me do that real quick. And your selector has to be on hot water. The button you'll be holding down is your top coffee button, your smaller coffee.
Okay.
For me, you can do either end, but for me it's easier to just actually plug it into the machine rather than the outlet. So here we go. I'm going to be holding down this button.
Okay.
And then I'm going to plug it in. And okay, I know we're in test mode right now because while I'm holding down the light, it does that kind of circle of lights, that motion. And then I'm going to let go, and the two top LEDs should be on.
And we're in it.
We're cooking with gas, Kat.
All right.
Okay, so this first area right now, we're in what is called level 0 of test mode. And it's just showing you all the micro switches and sensors for your machine and whether or not they're operating.
Okay.
So if I take out my water tank, it will show us that we won't have a water tank, and then that sensor is indeed working, which is this one.
All right.
It's the same exact thing here as it would be if you're in normal mode.
Okay.
If you took it out, your water light would come on. So we'll put that back, and then we should see the light go off. And then this is where it gets a little interesting. So if we start taking out stuff over here, like our dredge box and our door. Oh, it's over here? Is that where it is? There we go. Okay. So if I take this out, this light goes off.
Oh, okay. So it's like the switch is no longer activated.
Exactly. And it's telling you all those things aren't working. And these three components all work on the same switch, essentially.
Okay,
so if I take one of these out and then try to put them all back, this light won't come on, and this one right there, when I first shut that door, was telling us that it's still missing something. But then if I put this back, then we should eventually get it so that light comes back on, letting us know everything's all right.
Okay. And this doesn't have a sensor up in the bean hopper, correct?
No, it does not, because there's a nice
finger guard,
rubber finger guard underneath everything.
Okay. Keep your paws in check.
Exactly.
All right. So now, once I've tested all my micro switches, what's the next thing I can test?
Well, we'll go to level 1.
Okay.
Which is right here. You press this button, and then we're in level 1, which is great. So in here, we will be testing the water flow.
Okay.
So let's get it all the way over to there.
Oh, that's brew group.
You're right. Actually, this one is not water flow. This is just the brew group. So right now, we're going into work position. Your brew unit is currently in work position, so it would be like the equivalent of it tamping your coffee grounds right now. Mm-hmm. And if we hit the bottom coffee button, then it's going back into home.
Now, do you need to hold it down for the whole duration? We'll just do it on its own.
You need to hold it down.
Okay, until you hear it complete. Okay.
So there we're back into work, and it's a good thing just to leave it in home because that's what the machine's expecting.
Okay.
Now we'll go to level 2, and this will be our water flow. So we should hear our pump. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so like let's say you wanted the water coming out your dispenser here. You'd want to put the selector on the bean because then this valve is shut. So I could keep on holding that down.
But because my brew group is in home position, it's not going to put any water out, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly it's actually going to all go into your drip tray.
Okay.
Unless you put it into work position, because there's really no place for it to go other than your drip tray right now. Mm-hmm. But then if we come over here, you can go on either one, your steam or hot water, and water will be coming out.
And so this one doesn't have necessarily a the electro valve is what you're switching the water path on that dial.
Exactly.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is actually making us opening and closing a seal.
Okay.
You're doing that when you do this. There is no electro valve.
Okay.
So yeah, and that, like I said, that one works on either all the way to hot water or to steam, which makes sense because it's the same valve.
Okay. And now what's our final test?
Okay, and here we'll be dealing with the boiler and the grinder. So if you hold this down, this is actually just sending voltage to our heating element, and it's heating up the boiler right now.
Okay.
And the way you could really see that happening is by going back to the water flow level and bring out water from your steam arm or your coffee dispenser and seeing how hot it is.
Okay.
And the other one is your grinder. And this one, you can it's the same way as the burrito. If you look over here, this is actually the revolutions of your grinder. It's showing your grinder gear. There are magnets on it and how many revolutions it's doing with the exclamation point light.
Okay.
And that's the final one.
Cool. All right. So that is test mode on the Xsmall, the little portly dude.
Exactly.
Thanks, Brendan.
Thank you.